I see you. Yeah, you. You with the remote. You with the one who's about to do an umpteenth rewatch of either Off Campus or Heated Rivalry. And I got something even better for you. So instead of doing that rewatch, watch this video instead and find some good old fun hockey romance recommendations in my hockey romance starter pack. Hey friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. And today's video, as I mentioned in the intro, is going to be my hockey romance starter pack. This video has been a long time coming. I have had this video in the works for maybe a year and a half now, maybe 2 years even. No, about a year and a half. I have read tons of hockey romances if you have been watching my Goodreads at all. I have read quite a bit of them, and though I haven't read all the series or finished all the series in this hockey romance starter pack, I can say with confidence that these books will sweep you off your feet. And if you are looking to start in the hockey genre but have no idea where to go, this is a good video to start. So just kind of hop in the video. If you like this kind of videos from me, hit like, subscribe, and comment, and I can always do more starter packs in the future. It'll just take me some time and some effort and more time. But if you want to see more from me, just use the following: subscribe, like, comment, and let's get into the video. So there were a couple things I considered while making this video. One of them being the spice levels, which we'll skip over during the YA portion of this video. The writing, the book boyfriend material, which is great if you're looking for book boyfriends to enjoy and to reread and to manifest into, and most importantly, the third act break. Now, I have broken this video into 3 parts. The first part is the YA, the young adult version. Then we have the new adult, but I kind of had it set in the college realm of the hockey romance genre if you're looking for more college romances or if you're in that age group. And then finally the adult romances, which is set in the NHL. So, starting off with the YA section, and that is the Darling Devil series by Alexandra Moody. This is YA. We're in the YA section. But the first book follows Reed Darling, who is the eldest son of the Darling boys, Darling family. And he ends up falling for Violet, I believe her name is, who is from the rival school, who had just moved in and started in the new school from there. She actually ends up breaking up with her boyfriend, who is a hockey player, because I think he cheats on her. And she has this concocted idea to fake date the rival school hockey romance guy. Reed Darling is a very cute, traditional bad boy, but not really a bad boy kind of romance. He is very family oriented, very focused on hockey and hockey alone. He doesn't really try to move out of that sector at all. That is until he meets Violet, which I think it was a cute little fake dating. One of my favorite tropes ever is fake dating, so there will be a couple of fake dating books in this video. It's just the nature of who I am. I think this will be a really good safe entry into the hockey romance genre. There is no spice in this book. It is very much geared for a younger audience. It is very much geared for a younger audience and very much focused on just good, cute, simple, and innocent romance. I will say that the third act breakup in this one is predictable at best and kind of messes with the pacing at its worst. So just keep that in mind when you're picking up the books. Third act breakup kind of does just kind of mess with the pacing overall. I think it happened very toward the end of the book. And not only was it predictable, but it was also just like not great. It was one of those moments where you're like, you are a smart character. You have been written to be very intelligent and you are acting very stupid right now. But what can you do? Moving on to the last YA book of this section, and that is Check Please by Ngozi Ukaza. This is set in college. This follows Eric Biddle or Biddy, who has just started college, moved out of his school, moved out of home and started in a dorm. And he's gone from figure skating and baking to hockey. Very different things, very different kind of like world that he's in now. So he is struggling to fit into this world while also trying to really figure out if hockey is for him. This is a very cute, very innocent romance. It's queer, which is great because we don't get a lot of queer romances in the hockey romance genre. I feel like I have to hunt for queer romances, and I did include a couple queer romances in this video for y'all. An all-around cute queer romance. There is no third act breakup. It's a graphic novel, so the writing is phenomenal because it's a graphic novel. And it just progresses as Biddy as he goes from a not so great hockey player to a decent hockey player, to falling for someone in his team, and still managing to do all the things that he loves to do, which is vlogging and baking and all the things that in between. It's a cute little slice of life hockey romance. Oh, there's only 2 books out so far. And the real reason why this video took so long was because I had to wait 18 weeks for the graphic novel to be released from my Libby. 18 weeks. Let it sink in. Moving on to the new adult or the college level series of this, and that actually started this entire video to begin with when I first read the book series a couple years ago, and that is the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. The first book in Off-Campus called The Deal, following Hannah Wells, who is doing really well in her classes right now. She's doing really well in her philosophy class specifically. Garrett Graham, not so much. When he finds out that Hannah gets an A on a paper and he gets a fat C, he asks her to tutor him. And of course, at first, she's very much, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I help a hockey player kind of deal? But he ends up striking a deal with her. He will help her get Justin Cole, the captain of the football team, to fall in love with her if she helps him by tutoring him in philosophy. Romance ensues per the usual, and again, good fake dating trope. I love me a good fake dating trope. So keep that in mind when you're reading the first book. It's fake dating. It's sexy. It's fun. It's, you know. Garrett Graham and the rest of the boys are just the original book boyfriends to me. They are great. This was set during 2012, 2010, so the writing is a little bit more dated, which is fine. You can still have fun with it and enjoy it, and just ignore the more misogynistic aspects of the book. There's quite a lot. The book is spicy. We're definitely stepping into more spicier novels. This is like in 2012, so spicy books haven't quite yet hit, or at least spicy books haven't quite yet hit the market outside of like potentially like historical romances and those like mass paperback books that your parents probably read when you were younger. But they are starting to hit the market just a little bit more, so we are trying to introduce ourselves to more spice in the books so that they are spicy, so keep yourself prepared for that if you are going to enter this hockey romance genre. Starting with this series, it does get spicy. We do have quite literally a shared masturbation scene in the first book. I think the weakest part of this entire series as a whole is the pacing. Elle Kennedy did a really good job bringing up the characters, but when breaking them up, she kind of did it toward the very end of the book, which is where I hate a third act breakup to happen. It's my least favorite part of the book, where a third act breakup happens at the very end of the book. I feel like it cuts the pacing off at the knees, cuts off the romance at the knees, and just is very sudden, and it kind of takes off the suspense as well. It's like, will they get back together, or won't they? You know what's going to happen very quickly because it happened in 98% of the book. So just keep in mind for that if you're not a fan of third act breakups, this does cut that off at the knees there. Or it does happen and cuts the pacing right off at the knees. I think this is a good entry-level hockey romance novel that deals with a little bit more mature themes such as sex, and some more like sexual assault, and just like finding yourself as a teenager growing up and turning into an adult. Moving on to the Off the Ice series by Balcabra. I read the first book of this. I do plan on reading the rest of the series. This follows Summer Preston. Moving on to the Off the Ice series, I do plan on continuing on with the series here. I really enjoyed the first book, and that is Collide by Balcabra. This is the only one with, I believe, a person of color who has written this book. A POC has written this book, and how we have a POC character. If you want me to read more POC written or hockey romances with POCs in them, let me know, because it was a struggle finding even just this one. But this is a good old fluffy read based on more vibes. There is a bit of a plot that follows Summer Preston as she is on her attempt to become a good sports psychologist. She is trying her absolute hardest again to do her application and get into this world-class program at Dalton University. And and her advisor forces her to go into studying hockey. Kicker is she hates hockey with passion, which you learn more about why in the book itself. Aiden Crawford is the captain of the football team, captain of the hockey team there, and is struggling with balance and just has not been a very great captain, a very great community leader. So his coach pulls him aside and gets him to do the project with Summer. The two of them start a very hesitant friendship, and things ensue from there. I really enjoyed this book. It's a good old fluffy read, mainly all vibes versus the plot, which is fine by me. I love me some good fluff. I love the writing and the characters. I think they were all very fun, and it was just like what I wanted out of a hockey romance set in college. Just very fun, very goofy, still very lighthearted because they are still kids, but with that element of tension in there because they are kids about to go step off into like the real world. You know, Summer's gonna go do her master's, Aiden's about to hop into the NHL when he graduates, so there's kind of that will they won't they kind of scenario there as well. I think Aiden is a good boyfriend. He's supportive, he's persistent, he's stubborn, he understands the concept of no, but then also kind of pushes the boundaries a little bit without being creepy and non-consensual. You know, like when a guy when we think it's cute when a guy says like doesn't listen to your no, but fictional. We hate it when a guy doesn't listen to your no in real life, but fictionally, we enjoy that. You know, that kind of persistent and stubborn. And he's also part of the he fell first trope, which is my favorite trope, one of my favorite tropes of all time. There is no third act breakup in this book. I don't think the rest of these books have a third act breakup, which is great. I love a book without a third act breakup, as you will learn as we continue on with the video. I think most of the tension is part of the will they won't they kind of vibe, more of, as well as like Summer's issues with hockey and Aiden's issues with finding balance in his life. The next series is the Crestwood University series by Emery Page. This follows, I'm just gonna, if I'm being kind of honest, this is the one that I don't remember too much about. I read this during a 24-hour readathon, so my brain's a little jumbled up about what is in this book. So I will just read off the description, and you guys can just not blame me because I was struggling, to say the least, in a 24-hour readathon. There's one thing Haley Reid won't do, and that's become distracted. Between her job, her classes, and being president of the chess club, Haley has to stay focused on her goals to keep her guard up. The last thing she needs to get dragged into is drama that is Levi Jamison, the captain of the Crestwood University's hockey team. On the surface level, Levi has it all. The son of the millionaire and one of Crestwood Red Bull's star players, he has a golden image to uphold. Struggling to maintain the facade of having a perfect life, he's crumbling under the pressure until he stumbles into rude beginnings in the morning after a long night of partying. Levi can't get Haley out of his mind, but Haley says she'd rather scorch the earth than be dragged into his mess, in particular. So Levi skates his way by asking for chess lessons from Haley, and things ensue from there. I enjoyed the chess rep in this one. My dad's a huge chess fan, so growing up, I grew up with it quite a bit. So it was fun to see some kind of other option for people to bond over that wasn't just like hockey itself, but chess. So that was the fun thing. This is a slow burn romance. They don't get together until a good chunk of the way into the book. Which could be a good thing depending on who you are and what kind of tropes you like. There is no third act breakup, and most of the tension comes from the characters' personal problems. We also get some mental health rep in there, and we get to see, I think Haley goes to therapy and so does Levi, so we get to see them kind of do that. This book does have spice in it. It wasn't super memorable for me, as you guys can tell, but still very fun, still very spicy. Still a decent amount of spice. I think if you're looking for like a lighter amount of spice in a novel, this is probably the one you're gonna have to go for. Again, more vibes than plot, really. And Levi is a cute book boyfriend, a cute golden retriever kind of book boyfriend. You know, he's not super bad boy or super black cat or super like in your face. He's very golden retriever. He just wants to get to know Haley and really just wants to enjoy and be around her. Starting off with the Vancouver Storm series by Stephanie Archer. I wanted the first two books so far, and it's my favorite. Probably one of my favorite hockey romance books. It's just fun. This one is about, well, the first one is like a living together situation. It follows Pippa, who becomes Jamie Stryker, who is the Vancouver Storm's goalie, becomes his live-in assistant. The two of them have to have this weird tension now, because she used to have a crush on him he used to have a crush on her in high school. No, she used to have they both had crushes on each other in high school. Yeah, there we go. And they end up, you know, falling in love, obviously. This is probably my favorite out of the entire set of books I'm recommending to all of you guys. There is no third act breakup. It's very, the writing flows very smoothly and very well. The characters are well written. It doesn't feel forced or like, the romance doesn't feel forced in any way. The chemistry feels very natural, and there is a lot of smut. There is a ton of smut, and it's all very descriptive. So if you're very much into that kind of like very smut heavy kind of books, this is the book for you. This is the series for you, because it's just that good. Moving on to Pucking Around by Emily Rath. This one currently has 4 books in it, and it's very much a why choose romance. The first book of this is a why choose romance. I think the third book is a why choose romance as well. Going to start this off with the fact that I think I am not the party for why choose romances. It's just a little overstimulating for me. If you're catching what I'm putting down. Just a little overstimulating. A lot overstimulating. But I do enjoy Emily Rath's like political side and her game in these politics. So I'll be picking up more of her books because of this fact. There's also queer representation in this one between the hockey hockey player and the equipment manager. I love the dynamic between Jake, Elmari, and Caleb. Definitely good book boyfriends who just want the best for their book girlfriend and will do anything for the lady, which is what I love the most. The dynamic between the 4 of them too, immaculate. The spice was great and descriptive, and definitely has my favorite sex scenes out of this entire list, but again, definitely got a little overstimulating at times. Given there were 4 people involved, and she only has so many entry points before it gets to be a little much. Biggest tension here, there was no third act breakup thankfully, is that the biggest point of tension was that they are queer. They are a queer quadruple. I don't know. Poly romance. And it's kind of hard to come out as queer in the NHL. This is probably the most mature and most intense smut scenes you will get out of the 3 books I'm recommending to you today. So just keep that in mind if you're going to pick up your very first why choose romance. You may want a softer entry point, because this was quite a lot, and I did not know what I was expecting, but it was not that. Moving on to the last series that I will mention, that is Game Changers by Rachel Reed. This is what inspired Heated Rivalry. If you guys do not know this has 6 books? 6 books total. I own 3 out of the 6, and I've read 2 out of the 6 books. The first book follows a closeted Scott Hunter, who is I think the captain of an NHL team, and follows Kip, who is a barista, like a smoothie barista. The 2 of them have a very hidden romance because Scott is closeted, and things ensue from there. I think the third act breakup here is what actually makes sense. It's not based off of miscommunication or anything. It's just the fact that Scott is closeted and Kip is not, and he doesn't want to feel like he's going back in the closet for this relationship. And he wants to be, as the famous quote says in the TV show, out in the sun, enjoying the sun. There is no third act breakup in the second book, simply because we are seeing the beginnings of the relationship in this book. So keep that in mind if you're expecting a third act breakup in the second book. It's a completely different set of hockey romances. This one follows what the whole Heated Rivalry is about. So keep that in mind if you're looking for a third act breakup, or if you're expecting one. It does not exist in the second book. I definitely enjoyed the second book over the first book, just because I feel like it was more well-rounded and just had a lot more depth to it, because they weren't just stuck in a small part, or I guess like a large penthouse apartment together. There was a bit more world building that we got to see, and a little bit more of the world that is the NHL, and that is this hockey player's world. I think the writing was fine. It's pretty standard for a romance novel. Nothing too crazy to write home about. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too middle of the road. Just right for a romance novel, I would like to say. The spice levels here are pretty much what you expected of a romance novel. Pretty standard. It does get a little bit more intense, I think, in the second book versus the first book, but I think compared to Pucking Around by Emily Rath, this is probably like below that in terms of smut and intensity of the spice level in the book. Like your mouth will not, you will feel the burn, but your mouth will not be on fire, if that makes complete total sense to you. But that is it for my Hockey Romance Starter Pack. If you want to see more of these kinds of videos from me, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know in the comments what kind of starter pack you would like to see. I'm going to take a break from hockey for a little bit. I have read way too many hockey romances in the past year and a half that I just need a little bit of a breather. But if you want me to read more kind of sports romances, let me know. Give me a starting point, and I can always make a starter pack for that. Let me know as well if you want me to do other starter packs for like different kinds of genres and whatnot. So just, yeah. But until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!